Good afternoon, dear fathers. I will continue with my talk on my priesthood, applicable to the priesthood of Christ and to your priesthood. I begin with a hymn, Here I Am, Lord. I, the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry. All who dwell in darkened sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make the darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of snow and rain, I have borne my people's pain. I have wept for love of them. They turned away. I will break their hearts of stone, give them heart for love alone. I will speak my word to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of wind and flame, I will tend the poor and lame. I will set a feast for them. My hand will save. Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold my people in my hand. Fathers, in my first talk in the morning, I was speaking about priesthood, especially my vocation. I also spoke about the importance that has been there in my life, the scripture, the magisterium, the tradition. My prayer life I spoke about. And then I spoke about being a good shepherd, a preacher, and how important it is that I and my people of God, as priest and people of God, giving you the example of Elisha and that Shemite woman, and how they brought in a great example for our priesthood and for our people of God. And from there, I like to continue. And I like to continue to tell you that Jesus the Good Shepherd has been inspiring me more and more. Well, where did Jesus start his shepherding? Where did Jesus' shepherding start? I always take it like this. Jesus' shepherding started at the time when he went on his knees and he washed the feet of his apostles. He said, "Go do likewise." The feet of the apostles were washed by Jesus, the Son of God. He put an apron, he went on his knees, washed them and wiped their feet. Who does that? It is a servant who does that for people at home. The servant is one who goes on his knees and washes and then cleans. Of course, in our Maundy Thursday celebration of washing of the feet, the priest washes the feet and then wipes and then kisses and then gives a bun and a towel. That is our ritual. But what happened on the day when Jesus sat with his apostles for the last time? He went down. He went down on his knees and he washed. It is there Jesus started his shepherding part. It is there that Jesus showed that he is a good shepherd, a servant of God. That is why every pope, when they address a letter, they write, "Yours truly in Jesus Christ, the servant of servants." Each one pope considers him as a servant of servants. And we as priests, we always write, "Yours faithfully, parish priest." We should also learn to write servant of God. Because if we are in the line of Jesus' shepherding, I feel that I am shepherding my people. Therefore, I have to go on my knees to wash their feet, to wipe their tears. And that is one important aspect that I will always harp on. It is important for me to know that I have to be always on my toes as a priest, as a parish priest. Maybe you as a parish priest, you as principal or institutions where you are working, you must be on your toes. Toes means, I would always refer my priesthood to Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a very human character and a powerful prophet of Israel. And in my priesthood, I always look up to Jeremiah because he thought he was very young. When God called him, he also cultivated what we call today paranoid fears. He cultivated that paranoid fears in himself. Therefore, I look up to him. We also have the paranoid fears in ourselves as priests, parish priests, or institution principals, or anything in charge. He also feared God. He meditated on God. He questioned God. And sometimes he even blamed God for his problems. So complex a human figure is one of those best prophets in the Old Testament. Let us know that he was there crying. He is known as the crying prophet. He says, "I hear whispering, many whispering, the terror from every side, and they want to devour me in a way. Do not disown me," is what he cries to Yahweh. He goes on, "All those who are my friends are on the watch of my misstep, of a misstep of mine." And we know that as priests, everybody watches us for any misstep. That misstep is for us to be careful, be on your toes. But in all his fears, in the midst of all those fears, he sensed an extraordinary power. Jeremiah experienced an extraordinary power. He says, "But the Lord is with me." In all our extraordinary fears, in all our worries and tensions, do you also have that extraordinary power of Jesus, of God in you? Yes, I feel when there is opposition, when there is fear around, when there is so much of tension around, I find the power of God in me. Jeremiah does not say, it is because of the grace of God I do not fear. No. Rather, he says, in all my struggles, in all my pains, in all my fears, in all my sufferings, I sense a great power of God than all of these. That is for us as priests. We need that. I need that, and I want to tell you, each one of us, in my struggles, in my fears, I will sense the power that is greater than my struggles and my fears. So this is very important, and Jeremiah inspires me a lot. Jeremiah will inspire you a lot in your priesthood. For you as a priesthood, one of the fundamental teachings what Jesus gives us is fear no one. No matter who's coming on you, fear no one. This should be our principle in life. It is only God I fear. I don't fear anyone. Fear no one, he says, because Jesus Christ, and in Jesus Christ we are connected to the power of God. Therefore, fear no one. Now listen to what Jesus says. He says, do not be afraid of those who kill your body, but cannot kill your soul. Look at that as an important factor as a priest. I look that as an important factor, and therefore I don't fear. They are going to kill my body, not my soul. And therefore I don't fear anyone. I only fear God. That is how Jesus says, do not be afraid. If he knows that you and I are ready to offer our body, he is there to protect you. I am ready to give my body because he cannot kill my soul. Get your fears, my dear friends. Get your fears, dear fathers, in the right order. Organize your fears. What are your fears? Fear of light, fear of darkness, fear of cockroaches, fear of cats, fear of dog, fear of thunder, fear of people, various people, fear of your superior, maybe your bishop, fear. There are so many fears. Get your fears organized. Get your fears prioritized. This is my priority. I must remove this fear first. I must remove that fear first. I must remove this fear. That is what I do. In my priesthood, I remove all the fears that are there. I prioritize them rather to be afraid of them, because they can only kill my body, not my soul. Well, looking at that, I also in my priesthood consider two important aspects. There are two types of people whom we meet in our priestly life. Two types of people, two types of personalities. One is people who have muscles in their mouth. People who have muscles in their mouth. They kill our body. With their mouth, they threaten you. With their mouth, they terrorize you. With their mouth, they scare you. They say, I will see the end of you. I will alienate you from this world. I will terminate you. I can do that. Big mouth people. There is that first type of people who try to put so much of fear in us. And you and I must have experienced that. People who have big mouth bring that fear into our ministry also, trying to stop us in our ministry, which is so sincere and genuine. Do not be afraid. In all your struggles, in all my pain and fears and suffering, I sense a greater power of God than all these type of people with the muscles in their mouth, because they can kill only my body, not my soul. My soul is with the Lord. Second type of people are called paper tigers. They kill the body. They terrorize and threaten you with their literacy. They are well versed in writing about you, posting threats about you, maybe sometimes anonymous letters about you. They are known as paper tigers. Sometimes they write lengthy letters. Sometimes they write lengthy articles against you, or against your ministry, or against the church, or against the authority. They are known as paper tigers. And in that moment, in all my struggles, in all my pain and fears and sufferings, I sense a greater power of God than all these paper tigers. They will only come to kill my body, not my soul. Therefore, as priests, don't have that fear. They will only kill your body, not your soul. They may have muscles in their mouth, or they might be paper tigers threatening us. They will only kill your body, not your soul. Now we have another fear. Fear of non-human. Fear of non-humans are anti-human threats. What are those anti-human threats? Natural calamities, twisters, storm, earthquake, tsunami, floods. Speaking of floods, I get nightmares. This parish, in the month of October, the water was at this level, just below the sanctuary. All these benches and pews were up. These are fears of non-human. In all such calamities, natural calamities, in all those struggles, I know that there is a powerful God, a God who will save me. These tsunamis, these threats, earthquakes, or even natural calamities, or floods in Holy Trinity Parish, they will only kill my body, not my soul. So tell the natural calamities that you can only kill my body, not my soul. So now, as priests, we must be fearless followers of Christ. Like many saints who said, all of them feared only God. They were fearless because they only believed that they would fear God. Learn from all these saints whom we speak about in our sermons or in our daily mass. Whenever we celebrate some feast of some saints, we tell them they are fearless, but I am frightful. Some of us are afraid of our own shadow. As priests we live, we are afraid of our own shadow. No, my dear fathers, learn to become fearless. Finally, worth and value. As priest in my priesthood, I know the worth and value. There are two measures. Worth is one measure, value is another measure. I would always look, am I worth Jesus' disciple? Am I worth Jesus' follower? Am I worth Jesus' priesthood? Am I worth Jesus' minister? That is my first. The second measure is, am I of great value for Jesus? Am I of great value of importance? Am I of great value when it comes to my conviction as a priest? Am I a great value of Jesus' follower? Yes, that is how I look into this. Therefore, coming back to that aspect of shepherding, today, what is the situation of priesthood in the church? When I look at this, many of us feel sad. We like to hide our face like an ostrich in the sand when some sad issues take place. When we heard so much about child abuse among the priesthood, and how it has painted our life. Sometimes we like to hide our face in the sand when such things happen. Therefore, there is an urgency of being true disciples. I need to be true disciple of Jesus Christ. That is what I see when I see such situations happening in the church. The church needs true and holy priests, true and holy shepherds, and we know that the church is going through this problem. The church is an injured church. And I like to take you to Samuel. Samuel's story becomes very primary relevance today when we speak about the church that is injured. During that time when before Samuel could come, during that time, we seen that there was a dormancy. There was silence for more than 150 years. There was long period of silence. There was this Eli, who was a high priest in the temple of Shalom. And he was there, and he was not a good priest, most especially in bringing up his two sons. His two sons were corrupt. And during that time, when Eli was serving the temple, and his two sons he was not able to bring up, and they were totally corrupt, it is at that time Samuel is born. During that time, when he was serving the temple, the revelation of the Lord was very uncommon at that time. And when Samuel was born, you find there is something happening. Why was that no revelation taking place at that time? Why was it? Was it the Lord chastising them, or perhaps was they in that laziness, inattentive to God's revelations? Yes, Eli as priest was inattentive, lazy to God's revelations. And therefore, Eli, who had his lazy sons, were corrupt. And Eli was unfocused. In his priesthood, he was unfocused. And I find it quite relevant for me. The sons of Eli were so unfocused. Yahweh says, I will bring punishment on Eli and his sons and his house, as Eli did not disapprove them. This is the message that he gets. I am going to punish Eli and his sons. What happened in the next chapter, in chapter 4 and 5 of 1 Samuel? What happens? Eli and his sons die in the battle. The Philistines killed Eli's sons, and Eli dies in shock, back and forth with a broken neck. That's great. That's punishment. Well, now how do we look at this? How do we sum up this? Well, we have the same thing happening, or the same thing happened. Priests were abusing their office. Priests were causing suffering for the people. The whole people of Israel were suffering because of such priests like Eli and his sons. And the people in the church also were suffering because of some priests abusing their offices. Therefore, we get blamed. And for such acts of such priests, we get blamed. We feel like putting our head in the sand. No, listen carefully. The whole people of Israel suffered because of such priests. Therefore, we see the priests making the people of Israel sick. And finally, the predator are delivered into the hands of enemies. Therefore, you find the Philistines killed them. Now when we see that the enemies have killed Eli and his sons, what happens? Immediately we'll say, oh, they are all against the church. Does this story sound familiar with us? Yes. We had priests, not all of them, but few of them, who were abusing their office and deeply harming the people of God. Am I also doing that? From this situation, the church became deeply sick, deeply injured, and deeply wounded. And what am I as a priest doing? I thought during this period, Lord was absent. During this period, the Lord closed his eyes. And we see sometimes things happening in our churches, in our local churches. We say, Lord, are you closing your eyes over this? Open your eyes and see this, what is happening. Why are you silent? What happened? Wake up. This is terrible, we say. This terrible years that we went through, what did God do at that time? He delivered us into the hands of our enemies. Who are those enemies? They are the enemies of God. Exactly what happened to Eli and his sons is when they did not focus their attention to God. They only were about thinking about themselves. God finally had to deliver them into the hands of the enemies of God himself. In the biblical context and concept, remember, dear fathers, God often uses his enemies to do his will. Remember this for life. God often uses his enemies to do his will, not our will. Why are we surprised now? God uses his enemies to do this so that we may do his will. You look at our country also. We have gone through certain atrocities against church, against priests, against religious. There is persecution. God uses his enemies to make us realize that we have to do his will. We have to understand our own time. The biblical news is good news. Why does God do this and punish us? It is only to cleanse us. Yes, it is only to cleanse us that he is silent, that he is closing his eyes. When such terrible things happen in the church, there is no justice, there is no righteousness. It is at that time we think that God is closing his eyes. No, he is preparing his enemies to make us realize that we have to do the will of God. But sometimes God is using his enemies that the church will do the will of God. His will is ultimate. The ultimate will is cleansing and each one doing the will of God. I think, friends, in this world, what is going on in the church now is just Israel was cleansed during Samuel's time. And when we look at Samuel was a great gift to his mother. And after receiving Samuel, after so much of prayers, his mother offers back Samuel to the temple, which shows very clearly that God often is found fathering his people, not punishing them. He is only setting up enemies for us to do his will. Therefore, he is still fathering us. Remember, in your priesthood, as priests, we need to know this, that he is there to father us. And that is how each one of us will look at. Finally, my dear friends, in my priesthood, I like to tell a few important points. Attention to my pastoral ministry. The pastoral ministry I have is, first is poor. the poor. What should I do? What should you do as a priest? First, have a pulse for the poor. Go to their house. On a Christmas day, go and spend that afternoon in one of the poorest of poorer family. You will learn to have a pulse for the poor. You need to first favor them. You need to first serve them. For this Jesus came. I have come good news to give to the poor. Therefore, I have to first serve my poor, and then I can know who to serve. Remember this, don't serve your superior first. Don't serve someone who's going to give you a nice job. Don't serve someone who's going to give you a nice post. Don't serve someone who's going to keep you always happy and give you promotions. No, don't serve them. First serve the poor. And everything will be added unto you. It will be pressed on your lap. The second important aspect in my pastoral ministry, my dear priests, dear fathers, I look at the youth. The youth are important. How much time do you spend with the youth? What are the activities that you have for the youth? Do you really have these activities for the youth? Because in the church, in the Catholic Church, there are 40% of youth. There are 30% of children. There are 20% of elders, and the others remaining of the different ages. And when I know the highest is the youth, 40% are the youth that we have in our church, remember, you have to spend 40% of your time for them, 40% of your activities for them, 40% of your responsibilities for them. Don't be afraid. These youth, yes, they are young people, they are with hot blood. Sit with them, chat with them, have a cup of tea with them, tell them this is what we have to do. Be strict with them, at the same time love them. Tell them very seriously, but at the same time with a sweet voice, tell them I have a special respect for you. Young boys and girls are full of energy, full of talents. You have to tap them. If you don't tap them, my dear friend, the church is going to end very fast. Our ministries are also going to end fast. So what are you going to do? You'll have nobody in the church because 40% are the youth. And if they are going to be lost, the church is going to be lost. Today, why other churches are flourishing? It is because they are spending more time on 40% of the youth. This is also an important information for the youth director of our Archdiocese, that since we have 40% of the youth, you have to make 40% of our programs in our parishes. And we as priests should take up that. Don't be afraid. Oh, these youth, you don't know, Father, the youth are terrible people. Yes, I have heard so many priests telling that. They are terrible people. You can tame them. They are loving people. Have a concern for them. Sit with them and talk with them. Go out with them. Take a walk with them. Spend more time with the youth. The second pastoral ministry is the family. Meet the family. Reach out to the family. At least one family a week I visit. I visit so that one family, not the same family every week, no. One family, different family, every week. You may say, no, Father, it's not possible, no time for us. Yes, we know we don't have time. Take off time for family. Take off time so that you are interested with the family. Why? Because there are broken families also. When you find broken families, send them for counseling. We have the family apostolate. Father David is there to counsel all broken families or families that have family problems. Why there is a family apostolate? It is for that. Are you exercising that? Are you doing that? We complain about it. I have bad families in my parish. No. The fourth aspect that I would always do is to have a special care for the sick, to meet them at least twice a month. Have a special care. Don't just give communion and come back. Ask them, how are you? Are you fine? You need any help? Call us up. This is the concern that you have for the sick. At least twice a month is good. The sixth one is no particular. What is this no particular? Don't be particular to one family. Don't be particular to one boy. Don't be particular to one girl. Don't be particular to one man or one lady. No. Particular situations. We get attached to that particular type of people. Never. We are all detached. We are detached ourselves from our family. We live lonely lives. But have everyone. All the families are yours. All the parishioners are yours. Have every girl as your friend. Every boy as a friend. Every person as your friend. Every family as your friend. Every lady and man a friend. Don't worry about that. The seventh one is the media. In my pastoral ministry, we have to be very careful about the media because we have to use them for our pastoral ministry, for the evangelization, for reaching out people. During the lockdown, the media was very grateful and helpful. We must have some knowledge about it. Don't say, I don't know how to operate. We know how to use our smartphone. Use that and use your Facebook and use your YouTube to give people necessary information. WhatsApps are there. So use those gadgets for your pastoral ministry. See that you are effective in that. I know many priests are doing wonderful job. During the lockdown, we had wonderful programs. We had quiz competition, we had treasure hunt, we had Bible quiz, we had various programs on our WhatsApp of our parish group. Media is important. When the media comes to question you, be good to them. Don't be harsh to them. I don't know, keep quiet, go. You always come and no. Be good to the media. Parish council. My dear friends, wherever I went, whichever parish I was as a parish priest, I seen that there is a parish council. And it is necessary to know that after 50 to 60 years, after the Vatican II, still we are struggling not to have a parish council. No. I am having representatives. I am having so-called managing community, a committee. Council is important. There are laid down rules for it. Why are you afraid? Let us give all that responsibilities, the secular responsibility to our people. Let us be a functional priest who administers the sacrament. Not be always busy with financial support and help. Not be always bothered with the money factor or with the funds and projects. No. See that you are a person who can administer well. As a priest, I have done this, and I need each of my brother priests to do. You may say, no, Father, you are capable of it, so you are doing it. Everyone is capable because the people who are entrusted to us are wonderful people. It is only we who spoil them by targeting them. They are all wonderful people. They can do wonders for us and for our parish. If they are so generous, if they are so attentive, if the parish is running so smoothly, why can't we give them the parish council? Prayer is important. Prayerful life for me is important in my pastoral ministry. I become a healer by saying the little prayers that I can. When somebody calls and says, Father, my daughter is sick, I will pray for you. Or in WhatsApp, my grandmother is in the hospital, very serious. I will pray for you, don't worry. Can you call them up and have a prayer through the phone? Tell them to keep the phone in the ears of that person who is sick. Can you do that? I have been doing that. Wherever I am, sometimes in a party, I go one side and say, God our Father, I ask you to bless so-and-so who is suffering with so much of pain. deliver them, I pray. Why can't you do that? Prayer is important, especially when people call you up and say, so-and-so is in. Don't just say, surely. Father, please pray for me. WhatsApp message reply is surely, definitely. No, call them up and pray over them. When you have the media with you, call them up and pray. Or you can say, from today, say 5 times the memorare. What is the memorare? Well, I'll tell you what is the memorare. And I can't say it now because I'm preaching. I will just say it to you. The memorare is a beautiful prayer when somebody is very serious, somebody who is on the deathbed. I have healed so many people through the prayers that I told them to tell at that moment in the hospital, at that moment when they were very serious. If they need, tell them to say a novena. There are so many novenas. Find out which novena is for which disease, which sickness, which support it can give. And you can also tell someone you can fast today. You can pray today. Kneel down and pray the rosary. Or you can tell them visit the Blessed Sacrament and say the Divine Mercy. Start saying the Divine Mercy at 3 o'clock. And therefore you will find it in the diary. Father, you'll find it in the diary. No? So, prayer as a priest, I can heal people. Tell them, bring that blessing just like how Elisha brought that blessing when he said, if this woman is not having a child, I will pray over it. And he promised her and she received a blessing. You and I as priests can also bring that love, peace and joy among our people, that healing through our prayer. The 10th one is never misuse your office. I will never misuse the office that is given to me by Christ. I will never ever misuse. Well, I know the memorare by heart. When everybody sing, we say it. Here I will tell you the memorare, why I always tell people say the memorare 9 times a day. They by heart, but I have still not by hearted, because I will say together with all the people. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored your help or sought your intercession, was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly to you, O Virgin of Virgins, my Mother. To you I come before I stand sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the world incarnate, despise not our petition, but in your mercy hear and answer my prayer. Such a beautiful prayer. If you say it for 10 times, if you say it for 9 times, or whatever, how many times you say it, it doesn't matter. But what matters is, implored your help or sought your intercession, was left unaided. Inspired by that confidence, I am praying. Inspired by that confidence, I pray to our Blessed Mother. Today, you and I are sailing with the Protestants by telling, no, don't give flowers to Mary, don't put candles to Mary, don't break coconuts to Mary. Instead of that, educate them to pray. Why don't you tell them, do you know by heart the memorare? Don't just say, oh, you have made Mary the Mother of God. Have you educated them about Mary, the Mother of God? I will speak about that tomorrow maybe, because no time now. But all the more, in the pastoral ministry, remember, my dear friends, that we have so many opportunities to give to our people. We will say, oh, look at the Protestants, they are flourishing. Their collections are lax. Their collections are lax because they operate in a corporative type. They give cards for everyone to swipe and come inside. And therefore they know the attendance of everyone on every Sunday. They swipe their card and come inside. They say that is for security purpose. No. You know what they do? if somebody doesn't swipe, on that day, immediately they come to know so-and-so, Mr. X has not swiped his card. Immediately, next day morning, there is that team that calls up that person, Mr. X, and says, sir, you did not come yesterday, what happened? And the person, Mr. X says, you know what happened? I was very sick. I had this problem. I had to go for this one. I was in the hospital. My mother was sick. When they say all this, immediately the person who is talking, I will pray for you now. At this moment I am praying, Lord Jesus Christ, touch them at this moment and heal them. Mr. X on the other phone is thrilled about it. Is really excited that this person is concerned because that Sunday he did not swipe the card. And when I tell people, I didn't see you last Sunday, it's important, my dear friends, to have an eye over our people. How many have left the Catholic Church, or how many Catholics have left your parish? Find out. Tell them, send them to me. We have family of faith, which in a way animates people so that they can reach out to such people and talk to them about the teachings of the church and the real importance. So don't worry, there are resources. We have family of faith which will protect people who are jumping into the other denominations. So as priest, I know that it is important that I have to educate my people. Therefore, as a priest, I spent a lot of time for my people. And that is the reason why through the family of faith, I could bring theology of diploma in our diocese. How many of us do encourage our people go for the diploma in theology? This diploma in theology is 2 years course, that which is offered by the family of faith through the professors of St. John's Regional Seminary. Why do I do this? It's because I want my people to be educated about the teachings of the church, to know the real truth of the church. Why people jump into other denomination is because they are not fully empowered, they are not fully informed about the Catholic Church, they are poor to speak. When somebody speaks against Mother or the Catholic Church, they are not able to refute them. It is our fault that we have not instructed them properly. It is my fault, therefore I took up that responsibility through the family of faith. That is one great ministry I have done, that I am proud of, that many people who have joined the diploma in theology offered by the family of faith through the professors of St. John's Regional Seminary, they said, Father, we are enriched by the teachings. Especially, we did not know this theology, we did not know systematic theology, we did not know about the church history. We have come to know so much. I love to belong to the Catholic Church. I'm proud to be a Catholic. How many of us as priests have heard from our own people, I'm proud to be a Catholic? Am I proud to be a Catholic priest? I will say, yes, I am proud to be a Catholic priest because I know the pulse of the people now. I know that I can guide my people. I know that I can look after my parish. I know that I can really direct them in the right way. That is what a priest is finally for. Not for having houses. Father, you are now 32 years old priest. You must be having one house or one big flat or 10 big flats. I said, I don't have. My bank balance will be some 50,000, that's all. Why, Father? Why do I need? I have left everything and come. Do I need them? That is wrongful attachments. Don't ever do that, my dear friends, because we are more bothered about our attachments than what happens is we don't spend time for our people. Therefore, have an eye on your parishioners. Tell them, last Sunday I did not see you for the Mass. Where were you? They will say, Father, you don't know, Father, I came for Mass. Last Sunday I came for Mass, Father. Last Sunday, yes, Father, I came for Mass. I say, which Mass? Father, I came for second Mass. You came for second Mass? Who said that Mass? Who celebrated that Mass? Father, last Sunday I was at home only, Father, because we had no water and we had to go here and there and fill water. The person who said, yes, Father, I came on that Sunday. And surprisingly, and I don't know how, my eyes are like computer. I will always say, you did not come for 2 Sundays. I watch, I observe. You as a pastor, I as a pastor must have that eyes to observe our people. That observing part is given to us as true disciples. And that is how I need to be. If you are like that, just imagine, my dear friend, your sheep will be behind you, around you, following you, and nobody will be lost. And that is what I am. And if I am like that, I'm sure you and I can do that together. We can be a wonderful priest in our own parishes. We can make our diocese really wonderful diocese. Each one of us, if we are responsible according to what I have spoken, I am sure this diocese will be a model diocese. Whichever parish I went, I always made that as a parish, as a model parish. And I want each one of us to work upon it so that we can make our diocese a model diocese with all the ingredients that I spoke of for a pastor, for our pastoral ministry, for our spiritual growth, and to follow the Good Shepherd. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you. Pray for me that I may be a good and holy priest. Just like how Mother Teresa held my hand and said, now you be a holy priest. Pray that each one of us will be a good and holy priest. God bless you. Thank you very much. We finish today. You have a break. Then at 7, we have the Vespers. We do it personally and in your own places. And then at 9 o'clock, you say your night prayers. Tomorrow morning, the last day. And the last day is the last day we'll be all looking out for. I'm sure these 4 days passed off very fast. Yes, very true. Nice to see this lockdown continuing. We will have online virtual retreat like this. We'll be in our own places and we'll all be doing our retreats like this. No. We have to have the urge to go back to our presbyterium, to be together as priests. We need to meet each other. So we pray that all this will go away and we will be back for our next retreat, at least in the month of October, surely to be together. That is why tomorrow being the last day, 9:30 we have rosary, and at 10 o'clock we have the first talk and the only talk, and after the talk we have the instruction by Most Reverend Pula Anthony, the Archbishop of Hyderabad, who will be giving us the final instructions. And we'll be finishing it quite fast before 12 itself. So don't worry, I request all of you to be there. 9:30 rosary, 10 a.m. talk, and after the talk, we'll have the bishop's instruction. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. See you tomorrow.